Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the main event. This is the session you have all been waiting for. Since we were here last year, this has been the most requested session. No, it wasn't requested at all. Okay, all right, well, we're back anyway. Sorry about that. My name is Brendan Paget. I would like to welcome you here today. I'm part of the Red Hat Asia Pacific organization. And along with my two colleagues, Mr. Hendra Sutanto and Mr. Kinngsley, we would like to do some amazing things. We're going to amaze and we're going to entertain you today. Mostly entertain, but there'll be a little bit of amazement in there as well. We're going to talk about a company that we kind of made up that has some issues that we wanted to go fix. I would like to thank you all for spending your valuable time. I know your time is valuable. Thank you for spending that with us. We'd also like to thank the key sponsors for this event, and in particular, Intel. Intel have provided us all of the computing, and everything bar one thing that we will show you today is running on here. I mean, it's Intel. I mean, we know how it goes, right? 1, 2, 3, ding, 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 ding. So Intel, very key and instrumental. So everything you see here will be running up on there. Now, if I'm wearing my red hat, it's an indication to you that I'm a Red Hat employee, which I am, and then it will become more obvious in just a second. So, we're going to bring you a fictional company. It's a company that oh, camera. Okay, is that good? Is that my good side? Thanks, man. Thanks, man. You'll be back, right? Okay, cool, thank you. Okay, it's just so my boss knows I'm working. Actually, he's standing there, so he knows I'm working. Okay, so look, this is a fictional company that we're bringing you, and what we've done is we've looked at a lot of the issues that we work with our customers on every day, and sort of figured if we had a company that we could put together that had a lot of these kind of issues, what would we do and how would we help them fix these issues? So that's kind of what we've done. So this is a fictional company, but it has real life kind of problems, and we really want to help this organization, which is struggling in this age of digital transformation and legacy systems, and how the hell do I fund all of this kind of stuff? We want to try and figure out how we do that. So, without further ado, is that good there, Hendra? Okay.
Yeah.
Is the hair still good?
And
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. My name is Pils Malone, and I am the CITO of the BigPharma company. CIO, as you know, stands for Career is Over. And it's that if I screw things up. If this IT stuff is not working, my career is over. So, we've got big problems. I look after absolutely everything in the organization, from the IT systems to the security to the compliance, our back-end systems, our front-end systems, all of the systems. How do we finance this thing? I look after absolutely everything. So I have an absolutely massive job. Now, it's costing us a fortune to do what we need to do. We're constantly trying to, make all our old things continue to work. We can't innovate. We don't have the funding to innovate. We're in real trouble. We know we need to move forward. Things need to happen. Now, as my butcher says, the stakes are high, and it is definitely better to get retired than fired in this business. And I want to retire to beautiful New Zealand, where the customs service is great, as we heard before, right? So, we put a proposal to our board of directors. We said, why don't we go and acquire another company that we had seen that were doing some really great things, and that was approved. This acquisition was approved. But one of the first things we found is that cultural change is hard. And we heard that this morning. There was a gentleman talking about I think it was the Red Hat Innovation Lab, and how we talk about changing culture and that. But one of the things we learned at BigPharm was having a really strong management team is really good with this. The CIO, the CTO, the CFO, strong management team really makes this thing go much more successful. So, we acquired another pharmaceutical company called BioNode, and these guys were the new kids on the block. They were able to do amazing things at a pace that we just couldn't understand how they were able to do that. In a very heavily regulated industry, like I think many of you probably are as well. And over the next 45 minutes, we're going to show you what my company, BigPharm, did to innovate, to figure out how to move ahead. Ready so we could take on the industry and, more importantly, our competition. So, check out this new startup that we acquired. So they were able to release drugs to the market at an incredible rate. And there's nothing like being able to get your drugs out into the streets as fast as you can, right? They were able to do that very, very quickly, very fast time to cash. They're able to take that cash and reinvest in the business. So their cash flow was quick, their development cycles were really quick, and they just kept this going. We needed to figure out how the hell they were able to do that and how they were able to maximize that revenue and that investment flow. So how were they able to do that? So we said to them, why don't we buy them before they buy us? Okay, let's buy the smaller company. We can learn from them and how we can digitally transform our business. They had been embracing tools and techniques and processes that we didn't even know about. And we thought, if only we could do that. How did they do that? So we took over. So key thing they had that eliminated a lot of time wasters. And it was 3 key areas. But the key to everything they did was they had this really, really good mobile application. And it was a mobile application that all of their reps could use that had the CRM systems, the product catalogs, the ordering systems, the back-end stuff, was all on this mobile application. And this company we acquired had this technology that they had been using with their sales force. So everything that their rep needed was on that mobile application, and we needed to figure out how to integrate that. So as my senior director of infrastructure, Mr. Kinngsley Wood, could you give us an idea, 1 year after the acquisition, 1 year after the acquisition was completed, what does this mobile application look like now?
Sure, Pils. So why don't I show the audience directly? I'm going to switch over to a view which the typical reps out in the field would have. Now, this is an app that's running on their mobile device, their iPad, their iPhone, whatever it is. And as you can see, it lets them sign in, so they're authorized to access the system. And inside, there's what we call a call script. Now, that tells them who to visit, what the opportunity is, what the size of the potential order is, and it lets them visit hospitals or pharmaceutical consumers like pharmacies or clinics, doctors, and so on. Once they get there, they can show them off the whole catalog. So they might want to buy a bit of hybrid zone. That's always some good stuff, 10-pack of that. They can browse the BigPharm catalog. So all the catalogs from both companies, BigPharm and Bionode, are converged here. And they can, let's have some Eddie-Petametal, 50-pack. And then when they hit sign, it lets the doctor or the owner of the pharmacy sign. Once they've done that, we then hit confirm, and it sends messages directly to the warehouse to make sure that the packages happen immediately. It hits the street, out for delivery. It's deducted from the inventory and the access to the whole thing. So the CRM system allows any rep around the world to represent BigPharm and Bionode because they've got access to all the potential customers. So it's a joint CRM system and a joint catalog. What do you think of that?
I think that's a pretty slick app. It looks like it was designed by some surfer dude out of Noosa or something like that.
Possibly,
would that be right?
Slick. Yeah.
Outstanding. So look, we've got the integration of these 2 companies is complete. All of our reps can sell all of our products to all of our customers. Now, there's a lot of things that needed to happen to make that integration work come together. We heard about that this morning, about a lot of this is how you integrate things together. So Kinngsley, what were some of the things, what was one of the first things that we needed to do to get this integration so we could get these 2 companies on the same platform?
Well, the funny thing is Bionode grew so fast that they didn't spend a lot of time on security and making sure that everyone was authorized to access the system. In fact, a lot of these sort of gig economy workers, you could call them, out there, kind of like Uber drivers. They were all over the place. They were logging in with Facebook and Google, GitHub, and so on. BigPharm had a bit of a different approach. They were a little bit more strict about who could access the system. They wanted to make sure it was constrained. So we turned to Red Hat, who introduced us to an amazing product, SSO, single sign-on. And I'll show you that right now. Let me switch over. So in the BigPharm system, we already had all of our users, and we had also the users from the Bionode acquisition, and then all the contractors. So under the groups here, you can see that we had all these different constituents that we wanted access to the system, the app. But overnight, we wanted to give everyone access to the full app. So what we did is you can go to the identity providers and basically authorize several different authentication systems. So we allowed Google, Instagram, Facebook, whatever they were using, in a federated way. So SSO allows us to do a federated authentication system. Then back in the roles, we specified a role called Mobile App Access. And basically we said anyone who's assigned this role then has access to the joint CRM system and the joint catalog so they can use the mobile app and sell our drugs, right? So what we then did is go into the groups, and basically it was as easy as this. Overnight, we went to the BigPharm. We had all our customers, our employees that are part of the BigPharm company, and we went to the attributes and the role mappings, and there we said, just assign the mobile app access role, and overnight that then authorized all of them to be able to access. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Fantastic. SSO, Red Hat Single Sign-On.
I like what I'm seeing. So now we've got both organizations on one authenticated system, secure, federated system, so that now that brings all our employees together, and that takes care of a lot of the security issues that we had. Both teams now have access to the mobile application, which is absolutely critical. Now this saves us time, saves us money, and it increases our rep productivity, which is a measurement we have within our organization. So, as Kinngsley mentioned, one of the benefits we got was access to this customer call script, which is the mobile application, which has everything that the sales rep needs to be able to go and call on that customer. They can order products, the product can get signed for, it can be sent to the ordering system in the back end to get packaged and dispatched and all that kind of stuff. So everything is there in that mobile application. When you think about it, we had a couple of major things that we had to integrate. The first thing is each of the companies had its own CRM system, and we needed all of our reps to be able to go and call on all of the customers. So we needed to integrate two CRM systems together. The second thing is they both had different product catalogs of products. We needed to bring all those products together as well. So that, one of the first things we needed to do after the security and single sign-on was how do we combine the CRM systems? How do we combine the product catalogs so that all our sales reps can sell to all of the customers and they can sell all of the products? So Kinngsley and Hendra, what were some of the things we needed to do to integrate these two very, very different sets of systems so that all of our reps could sell all of our products to all of our customers?
So why don't we start off by rolling back to what the app looked like a year ago, the day before the acquisition. And here it is here. It was simple, the BioNode app, and you can see that it allowed them to log in using whatever authentication systems they had been using. So with a simple check to the UI, we were able to, first of all, update the logo, but we were able to add the ability to sign on using single sign-on, so all the BigPharm employees immediately had access to it. Now, once they got in there, you can see that only the BioNode catalog was available, which is a limitation. And of course, the current opportunities were limited to the CRM customers that BioNode had acquired over the years, but wasn't as big as all the relationships that we had built at BigPharm, so we wanted to integrate that together. So, Hendra, why don't you tell us how we then integrated the two systems together?
Sure, Kinngsley. So the BioNode folks actually introduced us to these local graphical tools, which allows us to integrate all of our system in a very short time. And the key word here is very short time, because we want to capitalize on this opportunity to sell more products to more customers. So thanks to this technology, today our reps is able to see and sell both company customers and products. So essentially, we made 1 + 1 = 3. Let me show you how we made this equation possible. So can you switch to my screen, please? So what you're seeing here is Red Hat Fuse Online, and the first thing that we need to do is to API enable both of our BigPharm and the BioNode CRM system, as well as our drug information system. Once we have done that, then we will import those API into this Red Hat Fuse Online. As you can see, we have imported 4 of those API here. Then the next, we have created the integration that allows the BioNode reps to access the BigPharm customers' data. So this integration involves 2 steps. And the first step is, of course, to connect to the BigPharm and the BioNode API that we have just imported just now. And the second step, we need to create a mapping to map between the source CRM, which is our BigPharm CRM, to the target CRM, which is our BioNode CRM. So once we have done this integration, what it means is that the BioNode reps will be able to use the mobile apps to access the customers' data from both companies. So now what I need to do here is to link all of these fields and to complete the integration. So we face one particular issue over here, which is the order ID of the BigPharm CRM is actually 6-character field, whereas the order name in the BioNode CRM is 8-character field. So in order to avoid the needs of changing the underlying customers' data for the BigPharm so that the format of the both of the field match, what we can do here is to add a transformation. And in this case, we're going to prepend 2 additional zeros to the order ID field, so that now these fields are having the same format. Now, I just need to connect to the rest of the field. Click Done. I will save this integration, and then finally publish this integration into Openshift. So that's it. That's all I need to do. It provides me a fast integration with 0 lines of code. So with this technology, now we have enabled us to save time, effort, and as well as, of course, the cost, right? So what do you think of that, Pils?
I think that's great. Now, can we see what it looks like after and how that's
It's running right here. We should run live. So I'm going to go back to the app. And what we'll do is, good job, Hendra. Let's enable, first of all, you can see that this hospital that BioRep 52 was going to visit had about a $1.4 million spend. When we enabled all the BigPharm CRM system in there as well, there turned out to be a whole big opportunity, 5.5 million. So it ramped up the number of customers and the number of visits that they could make to actually sell more drugs. The second thing, of course, was the integration of the catalog. So when we switched that on, you can see the BioNode catalog was there. Switch it on, adds the BigPharm catalog, because then everyone can start ordering some more Addy per metal, which is really cool stuff. Yeah,
it's good stuff, is it?
Just fantastic. Yeah, helps the back. Yeah.
It helps the back. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Kinngsley. Okay, so one of the great things about that is we're able to reutilize existing back-end assets without re-engineering them. Imagine if we had to re-engineering one of those 2 back-end CRM systems to make it talk to the other one. That would have cost an awful lot of money, taken an awful lot of time, soaked up a lot of people's time, which is really not what I want to do. So just with this application that Hendra showed you, and even matching a 6-digit thing to an 8-digit thing saved us a lot of time and a lot of money, because we need to spend our money looking forward, not making old stuff continue to work, and that's really, really critical. So we've saved us cost and time. Both of our sales teams can now access all of the customer information, and they can sell all of the product information. So we can sell everything to our customers. So sales productivity is up, and as a result of this, rep productivity is up, revenue per rep is up. Again, that's a key metric of the business, revenue per rep. So the next issue we faced was compliance. And we're not talking about IT compliance. We're in the pharmaceutical business. It's a very heavily regulated business, a bit like the financial industry. Yep. We had issues here. And one of the things we needed to do was we need to provide quarterly updates to the financial regulators. Okay, this is government regulation stuff. Now, unfortunately, a couple of times we've been late and we have been fined for not providing the right information on time. But the more important thing is that they could actually stop us from selling our products. That could cost us tens or hundreds of millions of dollars of lost revenue. So we really didn't want to have any of that stuff. So, Hendra, what did we need to do to address our compliance issues so that A, we stopped being fined, which is just a waste of expense money, but more importantly, so that we weren't going to be getting stopped from selling our products and really hitting our revenue?
Sure, Pils. Just like in the FSI world where we have compliance like SOX and Basel II, in our pharmaceutical industry, we are also heavily regulated. We need to comply with many compliance, and in one of the regulators, they require us to submit a regular reports on a quarterly basis about the number of drugs that we produce and the price for each of the drug that we're selling for and to which cities. And it was not easy for us to generate all these reports because I'm going to show you the system that we have later. But basically, we requires us, on average, a week for us to produce all these reports. Just let me show you why it's so difficult for us to generate all these reports.
Switch over.
Yep. Thank you. So what you're seeing here is our CRM system, and it stores all of our customer information. And while it's being presented nicely over here, we are actually using a very complex relational database to store all of our customers' information. So, and we also have this drug information system, and it stores all of our drug information in this large spreadsheet which contains millions of our drug information. And we also have this pricing system, which I did not show over here. Basically, it's our custom Java application, and you don't even want to know about it. It's a complete black box. So every quarter, if we want to generate a report, what we need to do is to ask our DBA, our data scientist, and our developer to help us extract the data from these 3 different systems, and then aggregate the data, and then do a data cleansing, and finally produce the reports that is required by the regulators. And this entire process took us, on average, 1 week per quarter to do so. And it's very bad because the regulator actually set us a very tight timeline for us to submit the report, and failing which, it results in hefty penalties, and we have been fined a couple of times because of that. So, Pils, would you like to hear some good news?
You got some good news for me, Hendra?
Yeah.
Let's tell our studio audience the good news that we've got.
All right. So, the BioNode folks actually introduced us to this Red Hat Fuse technology that they have been using for years now. Basically, using this technology, now we are able to generate the reports in just a few hours. So let me just show you how we managed to integrate all of our systems so seamlessly using this Red Hat Fuse. So let me just switch over to our Red Hat Developer Studio, and we use this to model our integration flow. So every quarter, if you want to generate reports, all we need to do is to fire a single API here to this main integration flow, and it will produce the reports. So this main integration flow has been deployed to our Red Hat Fuse, and is currently running on the Openshift platform. And this Openshift platform is currently running live in this red box over here. So let me explain to you what this main integration flow does. Basically, it will trigger 3 separate flows to our 3 different systems that I mentioned previously, which is our CRM system, our drug information system, and our pricing information system, to extract the data from these 3 different systems and aggregate the data into this aggregation stage and finally produce the reports. And in the past, this aggregation stage is what took us the longest time, because we also need to present it in the format that's required by the regulators. So let me just share to you for each of the system what we are actually been doing. So to extract the data from our CRM system to get the customer information, we are using this database connector that is provided out of the box by this Red Hat Fuse, and we extract the data and then convert it to text. And then we also have this drug information system, and we extract the data from the drug information from this drug information system and convert it to text by using the, remember this is our large CSV file, so we use the spreadsheet connector to actually extract the data that is also provided by Red Hat Fuse. And we also have this pricing system, which is our Java application, and we extract the pricing information system by using this Java connector that is also provided off the box by Red Hat Fuse. So finally, we aggregate the data into this aggregation stage, and then finally produce the reports for us.
So you're combining a SQL query,
Yep.
a data pull from a CSV file, and a Java API call all into one.
Yes, exactly. And all of these are provided, the connector is provided by Red Hat Fuse.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So using these several connectors, we are able to significantly reduce our time taken for us to produce this report from weeks to hours. So isn't that amazing?
That's amazing stuff. Can we see it?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Let me try to generate the reports for this quarter.
Now, there might be a pay rise in your future if this thing comes on. Could be a pay rise.
Oh, all right. Okay. So fortunately, I have run this report in the morning, so we don't need to wait for a few hours to get the results. But basically, what we need to do now, if we want to produce the reports, is to click on this tab over here. What it does is that it will trigger one API call to the main integration flow, and it will produce these beautiful reports that you see over here. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Even Pils could understand.
I think even I can read that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's easy.
It's very easy for you to do so.
So, Hendra, thank you. It's very insightful that you've shown us how we can bring, how you can bring this information from 3 very, very disparate systems together, and using this thing without even blowing a fuse each quarter, right? And getting it all together so that we can get the right information to the government regulators at the right time in the format that they are requiring. So this saves us time, saves us money because we're not paying fines, and they're not going to go block us from selling our products, so we can continue to generate revenue. Now, the thing that we thought about this is we have, like many of you do, we have a lot of information sitting in our back-end systems. This is great information. This is an asset that we have available. And we are thinking about how could we do more with this business asset that we have sitting in the back-end systems? Would there be a way to do, for instance, to monetize some of that asset? Could we make some money on the information that we have that we can make available? But more importantly, how could we make our customer experience stronger by giving our customers access to much more up-to-date information that we had sitting there? So, Hendra, what did we do to both monetize the information we had, our digital asset? What do we do to monetize that asset? But more importantly, what do we do to provide a better customer experience to our customers?
That's a very good question, Pils. So as you know, in our industry, it's imperative that we get the right information to the right people and at the right time, because even a single incorrect drug dosage can take lives. And you know, the consumer today actually can purchase their drug from the pharmacist online. And the problem here is that while the information on the drug portal itself is up to date, however, the information that it shows on their pharmacist website online can be as old as months, because they need to manually update their website and on a schedule basis. The reason here is simple, because their website does not have access to the live information. So if you go to their website, all you can see is a stale information, and this is very bad. So we have this idea that are able to help the pharmacists to digitally transform themselves by using the power of an API management platform. So we take this idea and we go to Morphs, which is the biggest online pharmacist in the country, and we tell them, hey, why don't we help you to save costs and be more agile? So let me just share to you what we have proposed to them. This is Morphs' website, and in the past, they are unable to provide the live information to their customer. But now they have this up to the second information button over here that they can retrieve the live information about the drugs to their customer. So if I click on this up to the second info here, it will retrieve the live augmenting data from our drug data API and then display it on the website. So all you see here is the live information straight away.
And that's connecting directly to the BigPharm database, right?
Yes.
Getting a direct call, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So while we are talking over here, I was thinking maybe we can show our customers our developer API. So let me just switch over to my API developer portal. And this is a great place for us to show our drug data API information to the third party. So this API developer portal is actually powered by the 3-scale API management platform. And this API management platform consists of 2 main modules. The first one is to host our drug data API, and the second one is our API developer portal. And this portal is a great place for us to market our product to our third-party like pharmacies or clinics or hospital that is interested to subscribe to our drug data API. So if they are interested, they can come into our website and they can see the various plans that we have for our drug data API. And if they are interested, they can click on this button over here, and they can fill in the information, and on the next page, they can just swipe their credit cards and get ready to use the drug data API. So let me just sign in as admin for the Morphs.com and to show you more details about our drug data API. So as you can see, Morphs have signed up for our drug data API, and they have been assigned with the API key that is unique to them. So every time if they want to call our drug data API, they can use this API key to authenticate themselves. So as a developer, I'm also interested to find out how am I going to exactly integrate our website with the drug data API. So what I can do here is to go to this page, drug data API page, and I can see that there's 2 endpoints that I can use to do a live test against my drug data API. So I'm going to use the first endpoint to retrieve all the drug information from our drug data API, which interface with our drug information system. So I'm going to key in the user key that is being issued to me on the previous page, and I'm going to click on this tryout button, And now it's showing me all the drug information from our drug data API. So if I'm a developer, I just need to see the request URL to be able to understand how am I going to call the drug data API. And from the response body over here, I will be able to see what is the format of the drug data that is being returned to me. Using these two information, now I'm ready to integrate my website with the drug data API. So while we are talking over here, I was thinking maybe we can show our audience how we can do a live update with our drug.
There's nothing like doing a live update on a live demonstration system in front of a live studio audience. So you're the man. Have at it, man.
All right.
Have at it.
Okay, let me switch over to our drug information system. Remember, this is our we store this information in a large spreadsheet file. And let me just zoom in so that everyone can see it clearly. And we have developed a new drug, Augmentin, for just Australian market, right?
Yeah, it needs to be extra strong, I think.
Extra strong.
Extra stronger?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to rename this Augmentin with Augmentin Australia. And since this is the strongest version, I'm going to change this dosage from 875 milligram to 1,000 milligram.
Whoa.
Wow. This is a very powerful drug. All right. So, since it's a powerful drug, I better make sure that our consumer only consume this
We
once.
advise them to only take one a day. Huh?
Yeah, one a day.
That's probably safer, yeah.
Yeah, this is a very powerful drug. So, I'm going to save these changes, and now it should get updated in our drug data API. So, all I need to do is to take note of this drug SQ number, DR1000, and I'm going to use this in our API developer portal. Okay. Now I'm going to use the second endpoint. The second endpoint, I'm going to key in the drug ID, which is DR1000, and the user key is 1112222. Now, if I click on this trial button, it should give me the updated information, right? Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, there is.
Very good.
Right. Augmentin Australia, 1,000 milligram and 24 hours.
So it worked.
Yeah. How
But
about
does
that?
that mean the consumers will be able to see it immediately as well?
Let's check it out over to the Warreds website and see whether it's get updated, yeah? All right. Let me switch over. Now it's still showing the old information. But don't worry, if I click on this refresh button, there you go.
And now we got to click on the up to the second and
Yep.
hey, there.
Wow.
1,000 milligram, 24 hours. Yep. So using this 3-scale API management platform, the Warreds website has successfully digital transformed themselves, and now they are able to provide a live information to their customers. So what do you think of that?
I think it's great. And I think, Hendra, about that pay rise, I'm going to go over to the casino at lunchtime, and I'm going to see about getting you a pay rise, all right?
Oh.
Okay, just over the water there, all right.
All right.
So look, it's great that we're able to take the asset, an asset that we had in our back-end systems, we can monetize that asset, but more importantly, we can provide a better customer experience for our customers. There's a digital self-service portal that we've made available, so our pharmaceutical partners that we're working with, research organizations we work with, hospitals, clinics, companies like Walreds, one of our biggest customers, can now all access that information live and up to the date at a very, very low cost. So, we're able to expand our ecosystem of partners purely by using information we already had sitting in our back-end system. So in this case, 1 + 1 really does equal 3. Now, the next problem we had was our logistics issues. So Kinngsley showed you the mobile app. You can order the products, and it gets loaded into the back-end logistics systems. But we were having issues with our logistics system as well. There were orders that were being dropped, incomplete orders, stuff that wasn't being fulfilled for a variety of reasons. And we needed a way to figure out what the problem was and how to go fix the problem. So with other organizations coming in that want to distribute this, for instance, you may have heard Amazon wants to get into the drug distribution business as well, we need to be absolutely sure that everything we were doing was absolutely top flight. So, Hendra, what were some of the things we needed to do to address these logistics issues of dropped orders and missing orders and finding out what went wrong and how to go fix it?
Sure, Pills. As you know, all order fulfillment process is pretty manual and inefficient. So thanks again to the BioNode folks to the rescue. They introduced us to this technology called Red Hat Process Automation Manager. And now with this technology, we are able to streamline our order fulfillment process using this technology. So Kinngsley, can you switch over? All right. So what you're seeing here is our Red Hat Process Automation Manager. And now our order fulfillment process consists of two main stages. The first stage is our inventory stage, which involves reserving the drug in the inventory once the order comes in. And then the second stage here is the shipping stage, which involves the packing and shipping of the order once they comes in. So these two processes is actually quite self-explanatory. However, it allows the BigPharm to address its main biggest problem, which is the ghost order. The ghost order happens because the staff that's supposed to handle the shipping of this order goes on leave or even left the company. So the bad thing about it is that we need to have our customer call us in and tell us that their order is not getting shipped. So we get a lot of customers is angry with us and all those things, but that's in the past, right? With this new process, now every single order that comes in will be tracked by the timer that you see over here. So what it means is that once the order comes in, if it's not getting shipped within 24 hours, it will automatically get escalated to the shipping manager. And then he or she will be able to assign someone else to take care of the shipment. So with this, we no longer have a ghost order issue. Every single order will be acted upon and shipped on time. So what do you think of that, Phil?
I think that 24 hours is still a hell of a long time to ship an order. There has to be a smarter way to do that. But thank you for doing that, fixing those issues, seeing what the problems were and how to go fix it. So think about what we've done. So we've integrated the company. We've got all of the employees on one sign-in system. We gave them all access to the CRM and the product catalogs using this Red Hat Fuse technology running, I think you said, on the Openshift container platform. We've taken the compliance problems with our CRM system, our product system, our pricing system, brought all that stuff together so we can get the compliance and reporting done quickly with Fuse. We've looked at our partner APIs to give our partners a better experience with live up-to-date information. And we've been able to monetize a little bit of that on the side as well, which is a great thing. And we've looked at our logistics problems, where the issues were, and how we can go and fix that. Now, the next thing that happens with any acquisition is you end up with multiple IT systems that are coming together. And if you've ever been involved in an acquisition, you'll know what I'm talking about. And each company does things really, really differently. Now, one of the issues that we all face in the industry are exposures from a security point of view. Now, we realize it's not a case of, if, it's a case of when, okay? So you will get a security exposure. Every company's going to get this. We read about it in the press every day. It's not a great thing, and it costs organizations, especially in regulated industries, huge fines. It can even put them out of business completely. So this is an issue that's really, really serious to us that we needed to go fix. So BigPharm was the old established company, and their idea was prevent things from happening, stop them from happening. And that's kind of traditional of organizations that have been around a while. Stop the problems from coming in, that's great. BioNode, on the other hand, the new kids on the block, they knew that there was going to be problems. So their thinking was, when they happen, and they will happen, when they happen, fix it quickly. So what we really wanted was the ability to take the best of both worlds. How can I prevent issues from happening to me by using some technology? And when that does happen, how do I fix it really quickly and in a very scalable, automated way? So, Kinngsley, what did we need to do to reduce our risk of exposure, to see what was going on, and if we did find any problems, to fix the stuff really, really quickly?
Well, Pils, that's exactly right. We had a major issue the day after the acquisition because BioNode had built up a huge array of data centers and systems all around the world to handle all the drugs, right? To handle all the sales and so on. And we wanted to get a good control of it very, very quickly. So Red Hat introduced us to an amazing product called Red Hat Insights. And I'll show that to you right now. Red Hat Insights is a software as a service. And what it does is it's able to leverage 20 years of Red Hat's experience, understanding exactly what could go wrong with systems, what is going wrong with systems, and identifying vulnerabilities and openings that you want to close up pretty quickly. So using this, we were able to get a grip on the whole IT system of Bionode right after the acquisition, and BigPharm was able to analyze it using insights and see exactly what was going on. So I'll give you an example here. We've got 3 machines running on the NUC over here, and we've got the logistics, the inventory, and the drug database, right? Now those 3 systems, right after the acquisition, were exposed to a whole bunch of vulnerabilities, and you can see that Insights identified that there were several critical issues, high, medium, and low issues as well. What Insights does is it then lays out a series of actions that it suggests that you take on those systems to actually rectify the situation. So if we go back to the overview and we look at this critical, for instance, we want to sort that out immediately. It identified that all 3 systems were suffering from a CVE called OpenSSH vulnerability to remote access. Now, we wanted to fix that right away. But because we have a good understanding of it within Red Hat, we've got all that knowledge of not only what the problem is, but also how to remediate it. And it's amazing because Red Hat Insights actually allows you to identify issues that you didn't even know you had, which is a really, really powerful benefit, especially when you're integrating a whole bunch of new IT systems. So when we ran it, we can drill down into that particular vulnerability. It told us that the impact was very high. If someone had knowledge of this and was able to take advantage of it, it could be disastrous. Also, the likelihood of someone identifying this is high. So the overall total risk was exceptionally high, hence it's a critical thing, right? The benefit of Insights, though, is it tells us that the risk of change was actually very low. So we could rectify the situation by going through these remediation steps and actually fix the situation very quickly, which we wanted to do. So here's how it works. First of all, I identified the systems that we wanted to fix: drug, inventory, and logistics. And then we decided to take an action to create a new plan or a playbook. And you'll see there's a little logo there, Ansible. And this stuff is magic, just incredible, Pills. Let me show you how it works. So we create a playbook, and I'm going to say, fix critical systems in Sydney. Okay. And I'm going to tell it, yep, go ahead and do it on all those machines. And it gives you some options that you can say how you want to remediate the situation. For instance, in this case, one of the options is to update the server and then restart the service. But a second option is just to update the parameters in the config system, in the config file. And I know you'd prefer that second option because we don't want to interrupt 24/7 selling of drugs around the world, right? Keep them pushing, yeah. So here we got, what we're going to do is we're going to opt for the second option and save that. And what Insights does now is it collects all the remediation steps that need to take place. It builds a playbook into Ansible, and then it sends that Ansible playbook up to Ansible Tower. So what I'm going to do now is convert over to Ansible Tower.
So Kinngsley, are you saying we don't need to go out to lunch while this is all going on?
No need.
Okay.
And just watch how effective one person can be, because bear in mind now when we get to Ansible Tower, the magic of Ansible is that it's agentless, right? If you're affecting 1 or 2 machines, you can log in and you can make the changes and remediate it. But imagine if you've got thousands of machines like we did the day after the acquisition. One guy can take care of all of this using this amazing Ansible tool. So Ansible Tower is the dashboard, and it lets you see what's going on here. And I'm going to jump over to a template that I'd created called the Bionode remediation, okay? In that remediation template, when I click on it, it actually gives me a chance to choose the playbook. So if I pull down here, you'll see, yep, there it is, fix critical systems in Sydney. So that's the exact same playbook broadcast from Insights into Ansible Tower. So I'm going to select that. Of course, I've got all the options here to put in all the credentials of the systems that I'm accessing. And the wonderful thing about Ansible Tower as well is that it protects those credentials. You don't have to expose those to the worker bees like me who are actually doing the work. We can actually just have the credentials used to make the system changes without having to expose those credentials unnecessarily. So selecting a few options, I'm going to save that. And here we go again. About that pay rise, I'm going to take some big risks here and actually run this live and in color right here on stage.
In front of a live studio audience.
So I'm going to hit this little rocket, and off we go. So what it's doing now is independently, it's logging into each one of those systems, the drugs, the logistics, and the inventory system, with the playbook, the instructions from Insights, and it's going to log in and make the changes. Once it's made the changes, it'll then instruct Insights to be refreshed so that Insights can get another quick view of exactly how that system looks now. So in that way, we can use a trusted playbook from a trusted vendor like Red Hat, where we have all the instructions, you know exactly what it's doing the right thing at the right time to fix those issues, right? So it's just running a few more seconds here.
So Kinngsley, so you got insights to find the problems, generate this playbook thing, which then gets passed up here automatically, and now you're remediating it live on stage.
Exactly. And there he goes. It's just finished doing the drug system, and it should be doing the other two. The great thing about this is right after the acquisition, we had no idea how many vulnerabilities there were. And the scale that we were able to affect was tremendous because we can affect all the machines across the whole binode network. And it was a pretty big system. You see, they were a little loosey-goosey on their security.
Loosey-goosey.
Yeah, it's a technical term. Yeah,
term.
yeah, it's a lack of taking care. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good.
But
good.
once it was done, there you go. It's all changed. So once that's successful, I'll then switch back to insights. And you remember in the overview, if I refresh, there you go. The critical issues are gone. Fantastic. So we followed that same playbook, that same system, affecting everything else. I can see there's 19 issues in Bangalore. I better go and affect that. That could take a while, but we'll just hit it running and I can go out to lunch. Pretty effective, huh?
I think that's pretty effective. So it's interesting that we've got this great technology that's been able to identify the issues, provide us the information on how to fix it, but not only give us the information, but actually go and let Ansible go and fix it for us. So this saves us time. This saves us money. It lets us see what the problems were. And I think, Kinngsley, I think you said when you first ran this on the systems, you were surprised as hell at the number of issues that we didn't even know about that Insights picked
up. And there's just no way on earth we could have done it with a small, as good as we are, a small team manually. We had to use automation tools to do it at scale.
And what we found surprised us, which is not a good position to be in. And you'll probably find that if you run this too, you'll find things that you didn't really know you had sitting there. So the other really good thing about this is that one person was able to perform this work and remediate. We had 3 systems here, but it could easily have been 1,000 systems, one person. So the really good news is, with a flat IT budget, is I can take my people, and rather than having, 10 or 20 people going out to locations and hitting keys on keyboards to fix these things, which is a complete waste of time and money, I can take those people and get them working on new products and new solutions that the line of businesses want. And that's really, really important, and this technology has been able to do that. Now, one of the things that we've got is we've got Andy, who is our CFO, who happens to be sitting in the audience here. And every year I go to Andy and I say, I need more money to spend on IT. And every year Andy comes back and says, you're not getting any more money. IT budgets are flat year on year. That's both from a capital and expense point of view. It also means my people count is flat year to year. Andy says you need to do more with what you've got. The problem is, I'm taking all that money and I'm trying to keep all the old things running, all those old legacy things running. So the problem is, Andy says you're not getting any more money, so how the hell did we pay for this? So Kinngsley, how the hell did we pay for all this?
Well, it's amazing. Pils, over the years, we'd become shackled to 2 major proprietary legacy systems.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
We'd spent millions on Oracle and VMware over the years. And BigPharm, we just kept spending more and more. And every time they come knocking on the door, the price just goes up. It seems we were trapped. But an amazing partner came to our rescue. You wouldn't believe it. Can you understand this? It's incredible. Microsoft SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server now runs on Red Hat Enterprise Linux. It's incredible. So we could actually think about using a different database.
Just say Microsoft on
SQL
Linux.
Server, friend of Red Hat.
Hell hath frozen over.
It's amazing. Pigs were flying.
Amazing.
It's incredible.
It's amazing.
So maybe I can show you exactly how this works.
Yeah.
So if you're ready, let me walk you through the process that we used. Okay, go. So when we logged into Oracle, of course, we were able to see we had a huge schema we'd built up over the years. This is the crown jewels of our systems, right? We had all of our databases, we had stored procedures, all of our customer database and the drug database. We were logging in and seeing this. This, for instance, is our HR system where we used to hire all of our employees. And these systems were hugely complex, and we'd built up the dependency on Oracle, but we wanted to free ourselves of this. So Microsoft's got an amazing tool. It's the migration assistant for Oracle. And this allows us to analyze the schema. It's brilliant technology. Analyze the schema in Oracle and take that schema and duplicate it in Microsoft SQL Server running on Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Now what it does is it looks at the schema and it translates it into exact same equivalents over on this side, right? So what we're able to do is look at the database, make sure that the schema is exactly right in Microsoft SQL Server, and it compares to the one in Oracle. Now, once it runs those checks and makes sure that the schema is correct, and we got 100% rating here, so everything was looking good, we were then able to take the major step of actually moving the data itself. Now, I know you were a little nervous about this, Pils. It was a big day, remember? But it was shortly after the acquisition, we wanted to transfer that data, and we wanted to make sure that there was no interruption to the drug selling, right? Can't have that. Now, when the data was ready, when the schemas were ready, the data was ready to be transferred, we were then able to switch a simple pointer from our applications pulling from Oracle to Microsoft SQL Server. And in that way, we were able to do an amazing thing. We were able to shut Oracle down. Huge cost savings, major move forward. And that's how we did the first step. But wait, there's more.
So I don't think Larry is going to be able to afford a yacht in the America's Cup race.
The BigPharm account was a big loss for
Which
him.
won't matter because the Kiwis are going to win it anyway. But you know what I mean?
It was pretty disappointing to the Oracle team, yeah. But there was more. This was the exciting part. You see, we'd built up VM sprawl. We had thousands of VMs and VMware dependencies all over the place. We'd spent millions with these guys as well. So we had to think of something different, and Red Hat again came to the rescue.
VMware, that was that stuff we got in the year 2000, right?
Yeah, the logo's
It's like 18 years old now.
I think so, yeah.
Nothing lasts that long in this industry.
But there is an alternative. You see, Red Hat opened our eyes to a new day. Red Hat virtualization can run all of those VMs just the same, and they have this amazing tool called the Infrastructure Migration Solution, IMS. Let me show you how that works. You ready?
Ready.
Okay, let's go. First of all, in the same way as the database transfer, we looked at the system in VMware, and we analyzed all the clusters, right? And we created a mapping. Now, that mapping consists of 3 parts. The first thing is we identify the mapping with a name. So we just tell it it's going to be VMware to Red Hat virtualization. And then we go into VMware, and a tool actually analyzes all the clusters to look at all the VMs and understand how they interact with each other. So we identify the clusters. We then go to the data stores, which back up all those VMs, all the systems behind it. And finally, we analyze the networking. And that's very important because that's how the interconnectivity of all the VMs works, so that we have a good understanding of that. The tool explores all of that, understands it, and gets things ready. That's stored as the mapping. The next step is we actually created a migration plan to actually do this in step by step. So we could identify groups of VMs, like you see over here. We identified it with that mapping. We create a migration plan, and then we tell it, identify a certain set of VMs, and then transfer them over. So what we did here is we did a migration plan on one of the logistics systems. So we had a load balancer, a couple of JBoss machines, and a database. So we took those 4 VMs together in one step. We identified them all as candidates. We then used the mapping that we had created in the previous step, and we actually got it to take those VMs, port them over to Red Hat virtualization, and start them up on that side. Now, the VMs themselves didn't even know that they were moved over. It's fantastic. And once again, just the same as Oracle, we were able to shut down those VMs in VMware. Now, the great part about it is it tags the VMs in VMware so that we can't restart them, so there's no risk of conflict or duplicates. And because the networking is analyzed as well, the interaction of those VMs with the others within the system is all taken care of. So as we move piece by piece over with this infrastructure migration solution, we're able to get the whole system eventually transferred over to an alternative to VMware. It's really fantastic, and you can see how the tool was working bit by bit. And I've sped it up here a little bit, but once those VMs were over, we were up and running in Red Hat virtualization. Cost savings were immense. There's one bit of bad news, though, Pils.
What's that, man?
I don't think I'm going to get invited back to the VMware Golf Day next year.
You know, but my new Porsche smells real nice.
I think so.
So, that makes my CFO real happy because he's not giving me any more money because my budget's flat year on year. And that's the way that we funded, literally saved millions of dollars on those old legacy applications and systems that we had that were costing us a fortune, that they had us over the barrel. We're able to move that and actually start funding our digital transformation work, which both Kinngsley and Hendra showed you this morning. So it makes our IT organization more agile. We're able to respond quicker now because we're not just trying to keep old stuff alive, and we've got the tools and technologies to be able to very quickly move in any direction. That Swiss skier guy was sort of talking about being able to change direction.
Yeah.
I guess like on the pista, when you're up on
the pista, yeah.
The pista, which is a skiing term for those of you who know. All right, so even without this acquisition, the BigPharm company knew we needed to do these transformational activities. The good news is we're able to learn from the smaller, more nimble, agile company. We bought them, took some of their tools, their thinking, and the techniques, and again, it's made our IT organization much more agile, ready to take on the competition and the next generation of line of business applications that my business needs. Right. So we've shown you this fictional company that had a lot of fundamental problems. A lot of it was because of old legacy systems and financial issues that they couldn't move things across. And with the acquisition of a newer company brings in new thinking, new techniques, new technologies, and that new lifeblood is a great thing to have. So we needed to do a lot of things to fix these core challenges, bringing the two loads of people together in a single sign-on type application, a federated thing. That was key to getting the organizations together initially, using our Fuse technology to bring the CRM systems and the product catalogs together so that everybody could sell everything, looking at the regulatory issues that we had with Fuse, the API technology to give our customers a better experience and to generate a little bit of cash on the side so we're able to monetize existing information that we had. And all of that, including the Process Automation Manager, all of that is running in containers on the Openshift container platform, which is running on that Intel set of Intel NUCs, and of course it's all running on Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So everything that you've seen, with the exception of Insights, is running on in a container on the Openshift container platform, and it's all live right there. Nothing like doing a live demo with a lot of different products. So well done, guys. The two other things we showed you were Insights and Ansible. So Insights enables organizations to go and see what kind of issues they've got. And you can then look at, say, we need to fix these critical things quickly. And by the way, you'll be really surprised. It's like when you do an audit for systems and all the assets and you find all these old things that you never even knew about. So you'll be surprised at a lot of the security issues that you face. And there's been organizations in the United States, you've probably heard of Equifax, you know, their big breach because they had unpatched machines. They knew that the patches were available, they were unpatched, it's inexcusable, and this is the kind of technology that can help you find those issues, so there's no excuses. And then with Ansible, again, you can then remediate a lot of these things, and you can do it quickly and at scale, and it's all automated, and it lets you use your staff to go and do new projects, which is a much more effective use of their time. So this is really, really good technology from the Red Hat company. But Hendra. I remember that you were working on some new technology that could enable us to deliver our drugs to our customers faster, because 24 hours, that's kind of slow. You know, that was okay back when VMware was kind of around, but in this day and age, we've moved on, right? It's not fast enough. So you're working on some code, right? What's it looking like?
Sure, Phil. So Kinngsley and I have been working on this new premium delivery project for over a month now. But last night, we finally got it working. So we want to show this.
You ready?
Yep.
All right.
All right. So what you're seeing here is the Openshift web console. And from this console, I can directly push my code from the repository directly to the production all the way by just with a single push of a button. If I click on this start pipeline over here, it will start the pipeline process, and it will start to pull the source code from the repository and deploy it on the development environment and do a build there. Okay. After that, then now it's doing
that code's testing itself?
Yes, now it's in the testing itself in the test environment.
But this sort of stuff used to take weeks of different teams to do.
Yes, exactly. Now it's in the QA environment, do a QA testing, and finally it will start to push to the production. So once you see a green tick over here in the production, that means that code is live.
Is that get push thing that consulting company was talking about before? That's amazing. That's a very powerful thing, right?
Yes,
very
exactly.
powerful.
Oh, now it's done.
But Hendra, you did all that without even hands on keyboard.
Yes, exactly. I just need to, I just concentrate.
It's all automated.
Phil.
In fact, it finished before you stopped talking. That's how efficient it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you pushed our code from last night. It's up there. It's all ready to go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we check it out? All right.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the app, and let's go and order some drugs. Huh?
Yeah.
Good.
How about some Redderol?
Yes.
I think we go for a 200 pack this time.
200
Can you get some hybrid zone for Andy? I mean, he eats that stuff like candy.
Okay.
Do you want to give him a 200 pack?
Of which one?
The hybrid zone.
Hybrid
He's
zone.
into this
Hybrid zone?
hybrid
Yeah.
zone
All right, we'll
thing.
order some
Okay.
of that.
I like hybrid.
And, you know,
And,
we're going to
Mr.
India.
Alice, I know,
Right,
likes doxymoxypropane. You better
Propane,
get
I
him
like
some
that stuff. Yeah, let's get
Yeah,
a
that's
50
good.
pack of that.
That's
All right.
good for the back.
So
right?
now we've got our order ready. And of course, it would have taken, you know, several days on the road and so on. But
That's
now we
not
can
good, yeah.
activate the code. Let's refresh. And there it is.
Wow, that's what
Wow.
I'm talking
All
about.
right.
All right.
That's what
So,
I'm talking about.
you know, here in the Hyatt Regency, I think we should just check it out, man. Let's test it. You ready?
Do you want to test that?
Okay.
Ready?
1, 2, 3, go.
Yep.
Wow, there it is. It's a drone delivery's coming into the Hyatt. Oh, God, damn, look. There's Andy's car there. Damn. That's what I'm talking. Now, that is a premium delivery service right there. All right. Thank you very much. Hopefully we've given you some ideas to think about, some ideas worth talking to your Red Hat colleagues about, and there's some great technology there, so thank you very much for your time. Thank you.